Welcome to this new video where we're going to talk a little bit about Forza Horizon 6, because there's a rather strange news story unfolding about the game. I don't know if we can call it drama, but it's kind of like that anyway. Forza Horizon, at least since Horizon 3, has relied a lot on community content, meaning that in the Forza Horizon games. For nearly 10 years, we've been able to share content in the game with other players, including setups, and now tracks or circuits with the event club. But also something that's very important, I would say, the liveries. The liveries, if you prefer, are the vinyls, the decorations on the cars, made up of stickers and different paints that sometimes represent shapes inspired by real designs, and sometimes are complete artistic compositions from A to Z. These are by far the most popular community content on Forza Horizon. This is really where there are the most downloads. And for the past few weeks, there's been a rather strange phenomenon concerning these liveries, which actually reveals another problem, which we're going to talk about. As this video goes on, more and more well-known livery creators are deleting their own liveries, even though some of them took dozens, even hundreds of hours of work. The liveries, since they're being deleted by the creators, simply can't be downloaded anymore. The interesting part of this story is the reason behind it. If they're deleting dozens of hours of work, there must be a reason. Among the most popular liveries in Forza Horizon are the Itasha. These are cars customized with liveries that feature characters from manga, anime, video games, or even movies. Liveries that are supposed to represent an aspect of Japanese culture. However, for the past few days, the most well-known Itasha creators in the community have seen their work automatically deleted by the game if they don't remove it themselves. There are extremely well-known livery creators like Kamikaze, or even Cracksack, who had liveries with sometimes close to several 100,000 downloads, real masterpieces, and who sometimes shared dozens or even hundreds of liveries, but now they don't have any left. For the simple reason that if they don't delete their content themselves, the game automatically deletes it and bans them afterwards. The fact that some creators have been banned for these famous Itasha liveries is pushing other creators to delete their liveries to avoid getting banned. Sometimes there are temporary or permanent bans, but interestingly, their liveries don't violate any rules. It's normal to have your livery deleted or to get banned when your livery or the livery you've shared contains deliberately offensive content, like insults or even things that are, let's say, more adult. But that's not the case here. Some well-known livery creators have had their designs deleted and were banned by the game at the same time. Even though their liveries weren't even Itashas, just reproductions of real car liveries, made up only of company logos and car brand logos without any anime characters. This suggests that sometimes the sanctions are aimed directly at a livery creator as a whole, rather than at a specific creation. And what's quite interesting, and this is what I wanted to get to with this video, is that there is reportedly a coordinated reporting campaign happening in the game right now. In fact, there are reportedly Discord servers where players, it's not really clear why, but players who are unhappy with certain content creators, their liveries, or just people who maybe have way too much free time, are coming together to coordinate waves of mass reporting. They choose a creator they dislike or randomly pick someone, then have 10, 15, or 20 people report the same liveries at once. There is even said to be a list of creators to report. A list with specific usernames that are removed from the list once they've been banned or once their creations have been deleted. First of all, what's annoying is that legitimate players get banned from the game, sometimes for a long time, just for making liveries, without anything particularly offensive. It also means that there are creators who used to make really beautiful liveries who are just disgusted, and they might just stop making them in the game altogether. Or they might only share their liveries through the auction house, which means that sometimes, in certain cases, you might have to pay several million to buy a car with a very specific livery, which will be considered a bit rare in this case. Well, it's not very good for the community aspect. But secondly, it still proves that once again, there's a problem with how bans are managed, reports and sanctions in this game. Because in fact, this system proves that there is no control over reports in Forza Horizon 6. It's a totally automated system that will sanction players. Basically, there must be an algorithm on Forza Horizon 6 that makes it so when there are X reports for a livery or for a player within a certain time, then automatically, it's not a coincidence, and the player needs to be banned without checking the content. There's not really a human who came to check the reason why or how the person was reported. Which means that, well, there are completely honest players who end up getting banned. Meanwhile, there are players who make liveries on PC using AI, who aren't banned, who aren't punished for it, even though that's not actually forbidden. But it's generally frowned upon by both the livery-making community and players overall. And secondly, while there are totally legitimate people who are just making liveries and getting banned, on the other hand, there are people who have glitched, people who cheat in multiplayer, who use speed hacks in eliminator mode, and they're just chilling. And unfortunately, no matter how much you report them, since you're the only one in the lobby reporting them, well, there's no one who knows how to ban them. Same thing for cheat setups, for glitches in time attack, in drift zones, in speed zones. When there are too many cheaters, what the developers do instead of banning the people who have completely unrealistic scores, checking them one by one, well, they just reset the leaderboard for everyone. So it's annoying for the community aspect, but it's also annoying because, once again, there are people who get punished in the game even though they haven't done anything wrong, plain and simple. A situation that's even more ironic considering that Forza Horizon 6 actually takes place in Japan. So, when we had a Forza in Mexico or England, I could understand that Itasha might look a bit out of place and that the developers wanted to punish for that. But now, for a game set in Japan, which is really like the home of this kind of thing, it would be weird for it to be forbidden. Well, this isn't the first time in video game history. There was a somewhat similar campaign. I don't know if you can call it harassment. It's not really harassment, but let's say a coordinated reporting campaign. On the Crew Motorfest, for exactly the same reasons there were creators of liveries, especially those making Itasha-style liveries, who were targeted. Anyway, it's a shame for a game that relies so much on the community aspect, because honestly, Horizon 6 is clearly the Forza that relies the most on the community aspect. The liveries, the tunings, the player creations. We're getting to a point where we're almost scared to share the things we've created, even though we originally made them for other players. We're starting to get scared to share them in case we get banned afterwards. So if you want to know more about this story, if you want more testimonies or details, there are quite a few threads on Reddit that talk about this particular problem. There are a lot of testimonies, especially from in-game content creators, like well-known livery creators, for example, who are simply announcing that they're going to stop publishing liveries on Forza. Some even say they're almost ready to completely give up the game if nothing changes, if the bans aren't lifted, and if the penalty and reporting system isn't thoroughly reworked. For many players, I think, and let me know what you think in the comments, but I believe the risk goes far beyond just the removal of the creation system. It's an entire part of the creativity that's kept the series alive for over 10 years that could gradually disappear if Playground Games, the studio developing the game, doesn't quickly clarify the situation and how its moderation works. And the problem is, it's not even the first time since the game came out that there's been an in-game issue, that there have been these little dramas like this. It's not a huge deal in itself, but it's annoying because it just adds up with other things. And where, systematically, the reactions taken by Xbox don't seem to be the most balanced or the fairest for the community. Once again, remember, a few months ago, the first patches for glitches. There were people who used glitches to make hundreds of millions of credits, and sometimes they weren't even punished. Meanwhile, some people had farmed legally or with others. Players who had used the autopilot, which is one of the basic features of Forza Horizon 6, had their credits reset by the game developers for suspected cheating. So it's a bit annoying. It's a bit of a shame to have drama like this on a game like Forza Horizon 6, which actually started off pretty well. It's a game that's great graphically, the driving is cool, there's a bit more customization, even though it's clearly still lacking, the map is really nice. So there are a lot of things that make Forza Horizon 6 really have the potential to be an amazing hit, but there are a lot of little details like that are starting to add up. Maybe it's also because it's summer, and we know that in summer, well, game companies tend to slow down a bit. Maybe there are people who are supposed to make decisions who aren't there to make them. And maybe it's not necessarily the right people making those decisions instead. It's up to you to tell me what you think in the comments, and maybe also to share your experiences. I figure that maybe among you, since there are 160,000 of us here, there might be people who make liveries on Forza Horizon who have been banned for one reason or another. If that's the case for you, don't hesitate to share. Not necessarily the livery itself, but explain why you were banned. If you were reported for something that doesn't make any sense, let me know in the comments what you think. And of course, don't hesitate to leave a like on this video to inform and share the content, so people can understand why some liveries disappear, why they've been banned completely at random without having done anything wrong. Don't hesitate to subscribe, since I'm continuing to closely follow Forza Horizon 6 and its updates. I also have a Twitch channel where I regularly do live streams, where we play a lot of Forza and plenty of other games, so don't hesitate to come follow me and subscribe with Prime. It always makes me happy. And also, feel free to use my gaming link that you can find below this video, which lets you buy your games for less while also giving a little support to my channel at the same time. I'll see you tomorrow for another video. I'll try to make it a bit more positive about the game. See you soon, bye!